This may sound a little confusing, but I love this new Commander Legends card so much that I'm giving it 2 thumbs down, and I mean like way down. So down, they're not even attached to my body anymore. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. I hope the day finds you well, my friends. We are here to talk about a brand new spoiled legendary creature from Commander Legends that has me pretty excited, I've got to admit. It's a lot of fun. We're here to talk about Crark the Thumbless, a creature that I never anticipated them actually making, but should have been really, really obvious. So, let's take a look at the card first. Crark the Thumbless. I love this. 1 red and 1 for a 2/2 legendary goblin wizard. Okay? So, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, return that spell to its owner's hand. If you win the flip, copy that spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. It has partner as well, which means that you can partner him up as your commander. That part to me is admittedly inconsequential, but I get that he's in a commander set. The fact that he exists at all is super exciting. Now, from the perspective of somebody who has no concept of who Krark is, it's still a funny idea to have a creature called the Thumbless and actually be bereft of thumbs. He has no thumbs. They're both gone, right? But he's about coin flipping. How obnoxious would it be to try and flip a coin without having a thumb, right? We all know the thumb flip. So how does he even flip coins is the question at first. And then you might notice, wait a minute, what's that around his neck? And you look and you go, okay, he's got random like coins or something. And then you're like, wait a minute, wait, is that his thumb? Is that his own thumb around his neck? What is going on? It is indeed his own thumb around his neck. In fact, the story of Krark actually begins with just his thumb, okay? So let's take a look at Krark's thumb, the card that led to this creation. For a second there, I was like, did I say Krark's crumb? My brain paused, like, processing? No, you said thumb, it's fine. All right, so you've got Krark's thumb. This is where the concept of Krark is spawned from. It's originally a card from the Mirrodin block, right? And you can actually see, if you did look closely at the artwork and saw the finger that was on his neck, you can see it's the same finger, right? I mean, it is desiccated, aged, turned into a relic, right? That's what it is at this point. It's a special legendary artifact. It's the thumb of a named goblin. Like, it's so random. It feels cool as a goblin artifact, but its whole existence was to just be a double your flip, double your fun kind of thing, where it's like, if you're going to do a coin flip, then flip 2 coins instead and pick the more preferable one, right? So you've got Crark the Thumbless, but at the same time, he has his thumb on him, which makes it seem like he has this ability, whenever you're going to cast an instant or sorcery, he can copy it if you get the flip in your favor, but he's really got that extra thumb to give you extra flip action. Now, Krark's influence isn't limited to just the thumb card. You've got to be saying to yourself, well, wait a minute. You have a legendary artifact that's like Krark's thumb, but you have Krark the Thumbless, who has no thumbs. So why is one of his thumbs a legendary artifact? What about Krark's other thumb? Well, we've got you covered. There is literally a magic card called Krark's other thumb, all right? And, and this one specifically does the same thing as the previous one, except for dice rolling. So this is an uncard. It was printed in Unstable and also in the special unbox set as well. So it's basically just, hey, he's a big old gambly boy. His one thumb gives you a boost with dice and one gives you a boost with coin flips. And I like the fact that it's just Krark's other thumb. Like, it's such an uninspired name, but it still feels like exactly what goblins would call it. Now, you're probably wondering too, actually, before I get to that, let's cover the fact that the other thumb has that fun flavor text about him being all about, yo, it's all good, man, double or nothing. I just lost a thumb, double or nothing. And that's the flavor text on Crark the Thumbless as well. So that's a nice tie-in. I like the fact that both of his thumbs are tied into the card itself. One through the flavor text and one through actually being around his neck. I enjoy that. So, how do you end up with Krark's thumb becoming a venerated artifact? Well, in the same way that people sell like celebrity locks of hair and things like that on eBay, once you've attained a particular status in your society, just somebody else just owning something that you owned is significant enough. But owning a part of them, that is more like, admittedly, that's more like tribalistic and old world than the new world, right? It's more just like, sign my Teletubby Furby or whatever, as opposed to like, let me have a chunk of your scalp, you know, that kind of thing. But either way, you have Krark was actually worshipped in a way. There was an entire cult devoted to Krark. He was from the world of Mirrodin, right? So if we're taking a look at the artwork of him and you wonder why he has this kind of like metallic look on his arms, that's because metal's embedded in his body in a number of locations. You can see it in his head. He's like, I just noticed it. He's got a real Gremlins feel to the artwork, doesn't he? Anyways, there's metal embedded in him because Mirrodin is actually a world where all living beings are part flesh, part metal. So he exists on Mirrodin, but he is special because he traveled to the hollow center of the plane. So basically, he went to the center of Mirrodin and cataloged his journey in like a little goblin book. And so this basically formed the fundamentals of the religion that was built up around Krark. So now there's the cult that believes that the center of Mirrodin is hollow, and whoever is currently leading that cult basically keeps the book and uses it like a preacher would with a like religious scripture, right? So the Book of Krark states that if you look at the Manicore, which is at the like actual center of Mirrodin, if you see Mirrodin's Manicore, your eyes will instantly turn to ash and drift out of your head, and your feet will turn into goat hooves, which is hilarious because if you think about it, Krark went there and that didn't happen to him. His eyes didn't burn out. You know what I mean? Like, he's literally testament to the fact that that's not true. But it's like, it's goblins and it's their dumb beliefs, which makes it just delightful, right? So Krark is believed by these goblins that still exist, the generations that have come after, that he guides their souls. He guides their souls to the Steel Mother. And the concept of the Steel Mother is already nutty. That's just the goblins of the Oxida chain, right? On Mirrodin, there's a bunch of goblins that live in the Oxida chain. It's mostly inhabited by goblins and berserkers, right? So it's a crazy place. But the majority of the goblins that live there, they don't believe in this Krark nonsense. To them, it's a non-thing. But everybody there, all the goblins believe in the Steel Mother, which is basically just like a gigantic, massive amount of lava in like a lake or whatever, right? And so they throw any metal objects they can find, they just throw in there as like tribute. And so they throw also any bodies alive or unalive that they want in there too, as like tribute to the souls of their ancestors, also to send their ancestors along their way and whatever. But it really is just this gigantic molten metal and lava pit now that they call the Steel Mother. But then the Krark clan takes it a step further and believes that Krark literally is their spirit guide who will take their souls down to the Steel Mother specifically through the Kuldotha crazy lava arrangement, right? It is pretty funky. So there are multiple cards that actually represent the clan that follow Krark as well. And they all embody the same sort of chaotic energy that Krark himself does, right? Like, Krark is about randomness, chaos, taking a gamble, destruction. It's all embedded in there. And in all honesty, it makes a really cool concept as like a chaos wizard. You know what I mean? Like, he deals with coin flips but has no thumbs. It's paradoxical insanity, right? I love it. So the clan that built up on his teachings also embodies these characteristics. Now, there aren't a bunch of cards that illustrate this, but there are a few. We have the Crark clan Ironworks, where you can see they've got like a little mirror creature that they're about to huck in there, and they're just constantly in this state of destruction and rebirth, melting things down, and honestly, it's a pretty powerful card too. I mean, in terms of all the cards associated with Krark, this is hands down the most, like, on just a functional level, this is the strongest of all the cards. The flipping and the coin rolling and stuff is fun, but ultimately still random and not as powerful, right? So Krark Clan Ironworks helps to demonstrate it. The Krark Clan Ogre demonstrates how ridiculous these specific goblins are as well, because they're taking a massive risk to try and like pull this ogre under control. And you can see the flavor text is talking about how like the ogre has like a bunch of snacks to go, and the goblins are like, we got ourselves an ogre. It's just, they're just delusional and engage in insanely dangerous activities, you know? You know what I mean? So that's fun. And like, they're inquisitive as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not just about destruction. Underlying it, there's a level of curiosity about their environment that's illustrated when you see the flavor text on Mere Servitor, and it talks about them pulling them apart just to watch them reassemble themselves. So that's partial amusement, but partial curiosity as well. So it's not like they're particularly like malicious or evil. They're just, already goblins are kind of off the wall and a little bit nutty on this world. And the Krark clan take that to an extra level, right? Even to the point where they show up confusingly on the Shrapnel Blast card, where it talks about anything can basically be weaponized by them. That's the idea behind the flavor text that it has there. But it shows like a mind slaver being destroyed, which is confusing because like it's blowing up on the head of the guy, but you put it on, like, honestly, the artwork feels like it was used for something else. So that part of the flavor, that's the only thing about everything when I looked at all the Krark stuff that felt like, okay, I don't get this. This kind of doesn't fit. But since we're literally talking about every single like reference to Krark in every card, I wasn't going to leave it incomplete, because even though it doesn't fit, it feels wrong not to add that in. But for me, overall, I really, really love this card. The fact that it just started out as a thumb and like sprawled into more, you know what I mean? Like they just, the extra thumb they created from Unstable, it's great. And then you've got the artwork where he's literally there with like one of his thumbs is just dangling from his own neck. That's insanity. Like, how crazy would that be if you ran into somebody who did that? Just bloop, and it's just hanging from their neck, and it's like, you know what? I'm not going to ask. You know, I'm into the center of Mirrodin. If you look at what I've looked at, you'll end up with a goat hooves and your eyes will burn out. And it's like, but you don't have... Oh, never mind. Okay, whatever. So Krark is this ridiculous little enigma that I absolutely adore. And I could not pass up the opportunity to talk about him since he got like officially spoiled with a nice bit of artwork and a good card overall. And I'm just like, okay, let's jump on this train. Let's make a bonus video. So I hope you enjoyed it, my friends. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like talking about Magic's like flavor and lore and all that, I do have a channel where that's all I do is talk about Magic lore currently. And we've got a bunch of awesome story time going over there. So I'll put a link up on the screen if you want to come check out my lore channel. Feel free to do so. Thanks for coming by, everybody. I will see you all next time.